Hello, happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is our first video in a couple of weeks. Not really had much to report on. Made a couple of wee changes in the shed, and I've not been brewing. But thought I'm going to be putting on a brew on Friday, so I started a starter this afternoon, and I thought I'd come and have a beer. So I'm going to have one of my stouts. It's been a few weeks since I've had one. I'm hoping that the carbonation's got a wee bit better. Pint pot today. Go. Looks not bad. It's not been in the fridge, but it should be a decent temperature to drink. It's not as if it gets that hot here. Cheers. It's definitely improved. It's not amazing, but it's a decent little beer for. That was the one where it was second runnings, plus a little bit of sugar. So yeah, not bad. Yeah, so Friday I'm going to make the Kolsch. I was going through what grain I've got left, and I've got enough for that, and I've got mostly enough to make another Hefeweizen. And then I put in an order with the malt miller 2 days ago. So the plan is Kolsch on Friday, Hefeweizen maybe the following week, and then I've got the grains to do Timothy Taylor Landlord clone, 1851 William Younger XP. Got to make that one again. That was brilliant. Another one from Ron Pattinson's blog. I've got grains there to make 1887 AK. I also got stuff. I think it was Old Peculiar. Oh, Ringwood Porter, because I have Ringwood yeast. I fancy having another dark beer, so I'll be making those over the next few months. I've read that the Landlord clone does well with a wee while conditioning, so if I make that and then leave it for a month, 2 months, that should be pretty good. Same with the porter, can make that, set it aside. Kolsch as well, take a little while to condition. So it'll be things that I'll make and it will do me for the next few months. Start to check what hops I need. I've definitely got enough to make the first couple of beers, but the XP, that takes up 300 odd grams of Goldens. And the AK, I think, is quite hop heavy, so I need to get some things like that. Definitely the kind of cheaper hop varieties. So, with lockdown being eased a little, got a load of empties off of my friend, so that's what been the last week. I've had 200 Hefeweizen bottles to clean, but that should be me now, good for pretty much the rest of the year. And I've put up a couple of shelves now, so this was off of an IKEA desk. I lost the screws to put it up. the whole, I still use the desk, but this was like shelves that went along the top. So I've repurposed them into shelves for in here. They're decent, solid. Had some issues finding the stud. Had a lot of issues finding the stud. And lost my temper a little bit there, so a bit of white silicone covers up everything. Yeah, so I've got a decent amount of storage now. This is actually just a bit of wood that was in the garden, like an offcut, so it's not fixed yet, but I'm going to give it a quick sand and a varnish, just clear varnish. I quite like the weathered look. So that's gave me bits of storage now that I didn't have before. Most of this is now taken up with the empties. I need to find something better for that. And the green in the corner. So, starting to get a bit of a better layout. Definitely an improvement on the blue kind of garage racking that I had before. I like having the worktop space, loads of space underneath for storage. Just now it's filled with bottles, but as time goes on I'll probably use it a bit better. Yeah. So, looking forward to getting brew on. I'll be trying out the extra screen for the grandfather at the bottom, after I had the issues with the Hefeweizen the last time and the scorching. Got this from Back Brewing. So you put it inside that shitty gasket, like the bottom plate is normal, but it's just got this extra screen now. We'll see if that makes a difference. Probably make it worse, but I'll give it a bash. Got some new tubing for the watermeter and the counterflow chiller. So the stuff I got before was like the platinum cured silicone hose, 8mm diameter, inner diameter. But as soon as it gets hot, it just kinks and it's really flimsy, and it's just an accident waiting to happen. So this time I've got 8mm inner diameter but 12mm outer, and you can get it feels a lot harder, a lot sturdier. I know it will still get softer with the hot water going through it, but it'll be better. It should be better. And different. Oh, it's an actual. I've not been using a food grade hose before, but there we go. It is a hose that I'd only ever used for water in the shed, and it was always hung up to dry, but it wasn't food grade. But this one is, so that should put my mind at ease a little bit. Nobody got poisoned so far, but yeah. So yeah, that's what's been happening. Also been looking into doing a 3-vessel upgrade in the future. I'm going to do it gradually over time. So I've got a large pot that's just under the sink at the moment. I'm going to convert that into a hot liquor tank with a Hermes coil, and I'm going to put together a control panel with the Inkbird and the solid state relay, which will be a test of my electrical skills. Probably should take less of a cavalier attitude to electrics when I'm mucking about with a steel pot and a lot of water and that kettle element. So the plan, I'm just going to use a 2.4 kilowatt kettle element because it doesn't need to get to a boil, it will just need to get to 70 something. So 2.4 should be ample. It's that pot under there. I'm going to use Qmax cutters to make, because I'll need a hole for the tap, I'll need 2 holes for the Hermes coil bulkheads with, I suppose, taps as well, and I'll need a hole for the element. So I'll need various size Qmax cutters, but if I do that and it goes quite well, I'll make a boil kettle next, which I'm hoping shouldn't. I won't require a control panel for the boil kettle because it will just run at full power. That's just it. The only thing I am swithering about is do I get a socket for 16 amp to use a bigger element. So when the power was put out to the shed, the electrician, when they gave me the quote and stuff, it can take, I think, 10 kilowatts as a maximum continuous load. But that's spread out. I'm assuming there's two circuit breakers for the wall sockets, and then one for the light. So I don't know how that, if it will affect getting 16 amp. Do I need to get rid of one of those or what? But we'll see. If I get that, or the capability to run a 5 kilowatt element, I can use a bigger pot, which means I can expand and upgrade as time goes on. But this will be a project over the next year. The Grainfather is, I don't have that many brews in the Grainfather, to be honest, so I'll use that for the foreseeable anyway. What I might do is 3 vessel, and the Grainfather could be the boil kettle. Because the issue I had with scorching was during the mash period, so having the herms should hopefully eliminate the possibility of scorching, I think. That's my kind of general understanding of it. It's nice. I've got the patented Cairns's starter chamber. So that's the WLP029, I think. German ale, coal schist. So I just put that on there. 1036, 2 litre starter. A little pinch of nutrient in it. As the yeast packet, which was in the fridge, but it was out of date by, I think it was January. So that was 2 days to show some life. And if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I have a packet of K97 dry coal schist in the fridge, which will do just as well. That was when I bought it. It was like a few days out of date, or a week out of date, but it was quite cheap. No, it's like ridiculously cheap, but it's maybe £2 cheaper than anywhere else. And I'm tight. I don't think I bought anything else exciting for Malt Miller for that order. No, nothing else in that. I just checked my order there, the list that I said at the start of the video. But no, that was definitely all the beers I've got planned. We'll see how that works with the miracle of editing. I didn't realise when I left the camera app that it just stopped the video. Yeah, so that's it though. Looking forward to brewing. Last time was a disaster, so hopefully this one will go a bit better. Hopefully, I mean, there's nothing in the grain bill that would cause me any concern. Might add a bit more water this time, make the mash a little bit thinner. Don't think that should make too big. It might reduce my efficiency a little bit, but surely it can't get much worse. So yeah, there's no wheat, rye, nothing like that, and the recipe I'm going to use on Friday. And if there is wheat, it's a tiny amount, maybe a couple 100 grams. And if I do that, I'll chuck in the same amount again of husks. I've got plenty of them. Yeah. Managed my inventory quite well this time. There's not a lot of grain, and it's all kind of accounted for with future recipes, so not much of the way of leftovers. Maybe things like crystal melanoidin. I'll have a little bit left over, because I just buy them a kilo at a time. But base malt, the things that take up most of the space, it was all accounted for. Got a load of Chevalier. I quite like it so far. Every time I've used it, I've enjoyed the beer. So the Chevalier is now my kind of go-to base malt, with the exception of recipes that specify something else. Like the Timothy Taylor Landlord, it's Golden Promise. And I have read before that is what the brewery use, so kind of stick to that. One thing that was annoying is today I'd seen on Facebook that Sierra Nevada had released the recipe for Torpedo. I wished that was either a delayed put in the order or they released the recipe beforehand, because I really like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but the Torpedo is excellent, and I quite fancy having a bash making that. I don't worry too much about making those kind of West Coast IPAs when I'm bottle conditioning. Nipas, hazy stuff, things that have got like a massive dry hop, or pale beers with tons of oat malt in it. I have no oat malt, but just flaked oats in general. I'm kind of a little bit nervous. I don't think that my bottling practice would lend itself to those style. I think they'd get oxidised to hell straight away. The pale that I made quite recently with a little bit of oat malt is doing really well, but that wasn't a massive drying hop. That was only 40 something, or hang on, it might have been up to 100 grams, but maybe it was 50 of Simcoe and of Mosaic. But it's not, in the world of New England IPAs and hazy, whatever they want to call them, it's not a lot. So I've been lucky so far. Although back when I first started doing whole grain, I made a Pliny the Elder clone that came as a kit, and I'd left it in the fermenter for about 6 months because I had a severe bout of lazy bastarditis and I couldn't be bothered bottling it. Just lay there. Airlock was all topped up, consistent temperature, hadn't been dry hopped. But I decided, what the hell, I'll just bottle it, see how it turns out, and I dry hopped it a couple of days before bottling, and it turned out amazing. I mean, it really should be oxidised to hell, because I have no way of keeping out the oxygen other than an airlock in a plastic fermenter, so it's not like I do zero oxygen brew. I don't have a pressurised fermenter, I don't have stainless steel, I think that was a fast ferment. It turned out great. I've never tasted the real Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder, I think that's the big one. I've never tasted like the real version, it was very hard to get. But the one I made tasted like, I'd say, kind of old-fashioned bitter, and you wouldn't have known it was like 8.5%. Very, very drinkable. Head cracker, I called it. So whether my taste, I don't pick up oxidised beers as much as others, but yeah, it was more than drinkable. It was actually enjoyable. I drank a lot of that. But anyway, cheers, and I'll speak to you the next time. Bye.